to promote health, to educate the public, to empower them to look after their own problems. So when we look at doing public health education, it's very important to consider the ecological and the social context. And I think we are very fortunate in Sri Lanka because we have a very literate population. It's a very powerful asset that we should use when we are doing health education. PTSD, like all other medical diagnostic categories, is constructed as a condition that exclusively afflicts the individual self. The traumatic event impacting on the individual psyche to produce the PTSD. It is argued that PTSD is a recent Western construct that does not apply in non-Western societies. It's also being increasingly recognized that we need to go beyond the individual to the family, group, village, community and social levels if you are to more fully understand what is going on in the individual, as well as design effective interventions that work not only with the individual but also with the family and communities. We have found in our work that when the family or community regain their equilibrium and healthy functioning, there is often improvement in the individual members' well-being also. Family and social support, networks, relationships and sense of community appear to be a vital protective factor for the individual and their families and important in their recovery. It's also becoming clear that social and cultural values, beliefs and perceptions will shape how traumatic events impact on the individual, family and community and the way they respond. The meaning attributed to events, the historical and social context as well as community coping strategies determines the impact and consequences of trauma. For example, firm traditional and religious beliefs and social support has been shown to be a protective factor against the effects of trauma. Equally, community coping and resilience help individuals and families deal with and recover from the destructive effects of disasters. The family or community members may join together in collective coping to pool resources, act cooperatively, share the burden to resolve a single problem in the family, in the extended family or in the community. Conventional understanding of stress and coping has been Western individualistically oriented, emphasizing a sense of personal and internal locus of control, focus on problem solving and meeting challenges and overcoming obstacles to the individual effort. But Asian collectivistic values and coping styles may be fundamentally different. Asian values that have been identified include some of the following. Similarly, Asian coping styles that we may need to consider include some of the following. Thus, what may appear as maladaptive coping from a Western point of view, for example, avoidance, passivity, silence, and non-engagement, may in an Asian setting be adaptive and appropriate for the context. However, what may be adaptive, aiding survival in a conflict situation, like silence and avoidance, can become maladaptive, inhibiting recovery and rehabilitation and development in a post-conflict setting. It would be important not to undermine traditional ways of coping by importing inappropriate Western concepts and methods. Cultural rituals and practices like the North American sweat lodge ceremony or Thukku Kavadi in northern Sri Lanka the oracle tradition in Eastern Lanka, can heal and provide meaning to suffering after trauma. Collective trauma was described by Kai Erikson as loss of communality following Buffalo Creek disaster in the US, and he described the broken cultures in North American Indians with the destruction of the entire fabric of their culture due to the forced displacements and dispossession from traditional lands, separations, massacres, loss of their way of life, relationships and spiritual beliefs. The concept of collective trauma is being introduced for the first time in a modern mental health diagnostic classification in the draft of the WHO ICD 11th revision in the PTSD category under cultural considerations. So, for example, it says far-reaching changes in family, community relationships, institutions, practice and social resources can result in consequences such as loss of communality, tearing of the social fabric, cultural bereavement and collective trauma. And supra-individual effects can manifest in a variety of forms, as I will outline later. This is a WHO disclaimer that they are not responsible for what I am saying. Though both the American DSM and WHO ICD classification systems have traditionally been exclusively individual based, it is argued that a collective approach becomes paramount from a public mental health perspective, where a large population are affected and where resources are limited. Further, community-based approaches may be more effective and meaningful in collectivistic society.